Hello guys, this is Yata here, and this is going to be the best Drytron deck profile for Master Duel. As you guys know, this channel focuses on competitive Yu-Gi-Oh play, so we're going to be breaking the bank in this deck profile. So if you guys want to save money, then I may recommend checking other YouTubers out, but this time we're going to be building the optimal deck profile if you wish to compete at a high level. So and also I'm gonna be answering a lot of questions on why I decided to skip on some cards, or why I decided not to run like some cards. So I'm gonna be answering all those questions as we go along the video. But also, and before we get started, I wanted to tell you that if you want the written form of this deck profile so you can copy it, it's gonna be on my Discord. I'm gonna leave that on the description below. But yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna start off with 1 Ava. I've seen some deck profiles that are running 3 Ava, and I think that's just like Brick City. You kind of just want to have this whenever you need it. So I know that in the TCG, like on the card version of this game, this card is banned. But even when this was a 3, a lot of people were running either 2 or 1-offs because they didn't want to break on multiples of it. So don't get me wrong, it is a good card, but I almost never want to open multiples of this. So because that means that if you don't have any other plays, you have to normal summon it, and then at that point, what are you gonna do, right? In case you want to draw into your Drytron names or into your cyber emergencies. So yeah, we're gonna be running 1-offs because we want to like up the consistency of the deck, or up the consistency of what we want to do with this deck, which is basically make an unstoppable board turn 1, so that our opponents won't be able to beat us. So, and if we want to do that, we can't afford bricking. So yeah, we're gonna be running 1 Ava. I don't agree with running 3 of this. I don't know why people are running 3 of this. That's insane. Even 2 is cutting it kind of like risky, so I think 1 is just the sweet spot. So then we're gonna be running triple alpha. I mean, this is like the searcher of the deck. You can search Natasha or Ben 10 or Ultimateness. So it's a very good card. I'm gonna leave a link on the description for a guide that you guys can check out after you're done with this video, with my friend Christian made on this channel. So I'm gonna leave a link to that as well. But it's a 2-card combo that requires alpha and zeta. So, but yeah, alpha, clutch. So we're gonna be running 2 gammas. I've seen a lot of deck profiles that are only running 1 gamma, which I don't agree with. This card is very clutch, especially going second, because it's a 1-card Zeus. I mean 1.5 card Zeus, because you still need something to tribute, but you can do this, then summon a rank 1 basically. So also keep in mind that you do not have to summon the other monster in defense position. So you have to summon Gamma in defense position, but the other monster you revive can be in attack position. So, and not only does that, it doesn't have to be one of these ones, it can also be the Mu Beta. So some pretty cool plays that you can do with it, because then you can attack with this and then make Downer and then Zeus. So yeah, just keep in mind that's another option that you can do. So then we're gonna be running triple Zeta. This searches out your Midiones. So very clutch in this deck. We need our Midiones to ritual summon in this deck, so absolutely necessary. Then we're playing the 1 Delta, because this is we get a draw, right, if we reveal a ritual monster or the ritual spell. So, and it's always good to have names. I don't want to run more than 1, because this one isn't really that good as like Zeta and Alpha. So, but 1 is just the right amount, and you can always just search it with cyber emergency or send it with Beatrice if you really want that +1 draw. So okay, so this is gonna be another contentious thing in the Drytron world, where I've seen a lot of deck profiles, a lot of them running triple orange, and I don't agree with this. I don't know why they're doing this. Like I said, the goal of this deck is to build a board that's unstoppable, right? So if you open multiples of this and you're going first, you're more than likely gonna break unless you have like the correct combination of other cards in your hand. So I think orange is good to like draw 1 on your opening hand and then search the other one. You know, you never want to open multiples of this unless it's like very clutch scenarios. So yeah, I think 2 is the correct amount. Yeah, this is like Brick City if you open multiples of this and then you have to go first. So Yeah, so then we're running triple diviner. This card is absolutely insane. Not only does it send your herald or int depending on what you need, but it also it raises the level by the monster that you send. So if you send Herald Dark Light, it becomes level 6, which means that this plus like Ben 10, you can overlay both of those to make Beatrice. So some pretty cool things that you can do with it. So yeah, we're gonna be maxing out on our diviner. So they're playing 3 Ash Blossoms. We're playing 7 outs to max C. We're playing 3 Ashes, 2 Orange, and we're playing 2 Called by the Graves. We're playing 7 outs to max C, so we are not losing to max C. And Ash is one of those clutch cards that are good going first or second. When we go first, it helps us play against cards like Gamma, aside from Gamma, or max C, and we're going second against pretty much every deck. So we want to max out on Ash Blossom. And then we're playing Natasha. Natasha is an absolutely broken card, especially in Master Duel, because Ben 10 is at 3, and none of Natasha's effects are once per turn. So you can just link it off. You can go into IP Masquerena, then you can go into Unicorn, and just keep link climbing with Natasha, taking all your opponent's monsters, and in the process, like, racing your life points. I mean, Natasha is an absolutely broken card, especially on Master Duel. So we're gonna be running this as well, and this can be searched with something like Ben 10 or the Alpha. So you want to take advantage of Natasha as much as possible. And then of course we're running the best card in the deck, which is Ben 10. This is limited in the TCG right now, and a lot of people were speculating that it was gonna get banned in the last ban list. So this card is broken. It's a soft once per turn. You can use this as many times as possible if you want. So and this can search you out your Natasha, it can search you out your Diviner, so it can search you out your Herald of Ultimateness. That's another reason why I'm not running Draconids, because it has no synergy with Ben 10, right? Because this cannot be searched with Ben 10. So I believe a good deck has to have good synergy in every single one of its cards. So that's why I decided not to run Draconids. I mean, Draconids is still a good card, but we want to kind of make everything like have harmony. So that's why I decided not to run it. And then we're running Herald of Ultimateness, which is the card a lot of people hate, but if you think about it, the actual crazy card is Ben 10, right? Because Ben 10 could pretty much give you access to your whole deck. But this is your end board. You put up the Herald of Ultimateness with a bunch of fairies in your hand, and you can negate as many fairies as you have from your opponent's hand. So yeah, Herald of Ultimateness is a must in this deck. So they're playing triple Cyber Emergency. Just remember that if they Solemn Judgment this card, then you can activate it again. Like if they negate the activation of this card, you can activate the secondary effect to discard a card, add it back to your hand, and you can activate it again on the same turn. Now if they Ash Blossom this card, you cannot activate it on the same turn, so just keep that in mind. Only if they negate the activation, not the effect. So playing triple Cyber Emergency, this gives you access to all your Drytron names, which is absolutely necessary. 3 Preparation of Rites, this gives you access to Ben 10. Like I mentioned again, Ben 10 is the best card in the deck. Not only that, but you can also add the Medionis from the graveyard to your hand if you have Medionis already in your graveyard. So just keep that in mind. You want to use your cards as best as possible. So they're playing 3 Drytron Nova. Just keep in mind that you can summon the monster in attack position. So if your opponent has something like Seals, you're playing against Dragon Link and they have Seals, you can activate Nova, special summon the Drytron monster in attack position. They go into battle phase and they're gonna be forced to bounce your Drytron to your hand, and you're like, okay, I don't mind having the Drytron in my hand. So pretty cool things that you can do with this. So right, and so now we're gonna go into the Drytron Fafnir. This gives you access to either your Medionis or your Nova. So it's a very good card. Also, it has the effect that says that the activation and the activated effects of ritual spell cards cannot be negated. So people cannot negate your Medionis once this is out on the field. So yeah, but we're just gonna be running 1 because this deck kind of struggles against Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird. It's a lot of people don't know this card, but is the one that prevents you from searching. So if you start off with Fafnir and they Droll and Lockbird you kind of have to skip turn. So that's why we don't want to be super reliant on Fafnir. You can up the count of Fafnir if you wanted to, but it's not needed. It's not needed. So they're playing one Meteorus Drytron. You can run two. I just decided to run one because that way we have less chances of breaking by opening multiples of this. So, but it's up to you. You can send this off your Mu Beta. You can search this off your Fafnir. You can search this with your Zeta. So yeah, and you can search this with a lot of ways in this deck. So yeah, Meteorus Drytron, we need this to ritual summon. So 2 Call by the Graves. This helps us battle Maxi, Ash Blossom, Droll and Lockbird. So many cards that this deck struggles against. So absolutely mandatory. It's good versus the Dragon Link deck because you can Call by the Grave the seals. So it's good against a lot of decks. So, and then we're playing 3 Forbidden Droplet, which I think it's one of the best cards in Master Duel, especially going second because you have cards like BFD, True King of All Calamities. So if they activate that, then you can chain Droplet to that, negating it. So yeah, Droplet is absolutely necessary. If you're playing against the Mirror, they have something like a Herald of Ultimateness. You can negate the Herald of Ultimateness with your Droplet if you send a monster. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just remember that your opponent cannot respond with the whatever card you send. So if you send monsters, they cannot respond with the monster, and you send trap card, then they cannot respond with the trap card, and so on and so forth. So Droplet is a clutch card, especially in Master Duel. So then we're playing Red Reboot. You can either opt to run Feather Duster or Red Reboot, but I do think that you need some sort of back row removal or back row stopper. So, and this is not specifically a back row removal, but it is a back row stopper. So I mean, you can you don't really care what they set down because then you're just gonna go into Zeus and just wipe the whole board anyway, so you don't really care. So, and Red Reboot is one of those cards that basically says, okay, no more trap cards for you for the remainder of the turn, so I can either kill you this turn or I can Zeus wipe your own board, your whole board. So yeah, Red Reboot is, there's a reason why it's at 1, because this card is absolutely crazy, especially on Master Duel, because there's a lot of Eldritch going around, a lot of trap decks, so you want to put a stop to them as quick as possible. So if I would recommend waiting for them to activate something, like something that would really hurt you. That way, like if they have like a Solemn Judgment set, you're like baiting out a Solemn Judgment, so that way when they activate Solemn Judgment, you chain this and they're not gonna have another Solemn Judgment to counter this. So hopefully they won't have it. So 40 cards in the main deck, we wanna make it as consistent as possible. There's another thing that before I move on to the extra deck, I wanted to discuss like why I'm not running Foolish Burial Goods. This is a lot of people think this is a staple on Drytron decks, but I don't agree with it. I mean, it's a decent card because like you can send one of your Drytron names to the graveyard, but it's a bad top deck. Like if you're in a top deck scenario and you draw into Foolish Burial, you're not gonna be happy. You're not gonna be happy. I would much rather top deck something like a Cyber Emergency or a Drytron name, because you're more than likely gonna have Drytron names already in the graveyard. So if you draw into like a Cyber Emergency or a Nova or another name, then you're gonna be able to pop off from there. So, but Foolish Burial doesn't really do much for you. So another card that I decided to opt out of is Pot of Prosperity, which is very popular in the actual card game because Ben 10 is limited. So the consistency is lower in the TCG game, but in Master Duel you have 3 Ben 10s. So and then you have Ava, which is banned in the TCG. So you have a lot more tools in Master Duel, which I don't think Prosperity is necessary. You can run it if you decide to run it, then I might consider like cutting maybe like a 1 Gamma. But yeah, it's kind of tight. Like there's like a lot of stuff that I wouldn't cut from this deck. So yeah, I would probably just not run it. Honestly, I think the deck is as consistent as it can be. the way I build it. So alright, and so now we're gonna go into the extra deck. We're running one Elder into the Ints. This is good going second because you can send it off your Diviner and pop either a problematic monster or a back row that you don't know what the back row is. So this is a very good card. You can decide to run two of this. If you do decide to run two of this, I may consider cutting one Mu Beta, but it's your option. You can do a little bit of testing with that, whatever you prefer the most. But I like running two Mu Betas. So yeah, and then we're running two Herald of the Arc Light because it's good. Like turn 3, we can send it. Like we send one during our turn 1. Then once it comes back to us, we want to send another one so we can get another search. So this card is absolutely clutch in this deck. So that's why I decided to run two of them. We're playing one Assembled Nightingale. This one is very good because it can attack directly, which makes you be able to summon Zeus easier. You attack directly with Assembled Nightingale, then you go in main phase 2, you go into Downer Magician, and then you go into Zeus. So now you have 2 board wipes, and then you can wipe the whole board, and then you can set up your own board after that. So then we're running 2 Mu Betas. I love Mu Beta. Fafnir, you can summon this as well off of Gamma, like I mentioned before. So yeah, this card's absolutely clutch. You can dump whatever monster, whatever Drytron name you want. You can even dump the Medionis. So one Downer, so we can have 2 board wipes with our Zeus. One Beatrice. Beatrice, once again, you can make it with a level 6 Diviner, and then Ben 10, you overlay both of those and you make Beatrice, and Beatrice can send whatever you need basically. So one Zeus, mandatory in this deck, very good going second. And then one Linkuriboh. Sometimes we want to put our Drytrons in the graveyard, especially like if we summon it off of something like Nova. Summon out Nova, all your Drytron names are level 1, so summon out Nova, and then you summon the Drytron off of Nova, then you go into Linkuriboh, and then you can like activate the Drytron name in the graveyard. So that's how you can get more bodies out on the board. IP Masquerina is very good on this deck because usually you end up on a Herald of Ultimateness with an IP Masquerina and other monsters on the board. So you have multiple interruptions that way. You have a lot of Omni Negates with your Herald of Ultimateness, and you have like a shuffle with IP Masquerina, because IP Masquerina and another monster can tag out into Nightmare Unicorn during your opponent's turn and shuffle one of their cards. Then we're playing Union Carrier. Yeah, Union Carrier, you can equip a monster to itself or other monsters that you have. You can equip something like an Ava. You can't summon it that turn, but you can still activate the effect. So alright, and then we're playing the one Unicorn for our Masquerina target. And then we're playing the access code because we like to OTK our opponents. We like to kill our opponents. We don't like to give them chances to breathe at all, right? We kill them whenever we want to. But yeah, I mean, this deck is the king of... I just noticed this is a 14 card extra deck. So you know what? We're gonna have to go into another Elder. So we're gonna go into Elder, and we're gonna put another Elder right here. So we're gonna be running 2 Elder Entity Ints. So just making it a perfect 15. I'm glad I caught that right now. I'm sure somebody would have brought it on the chat, but 2 Elder, 2 Herald of the Arc Light, 1 Assembled Nightingale, and then the rest is history. So yeah, this is gonna be it for the deck. Once again, I'm gonna put a link to the guide that my friend Christian made on this channel, a Drytron guide. He also has the 2-card combo guide, and it explains a lot of tech options that you have for this deck. So if you really want to learn the ins and outs of this deck, and I'm also gonna leave the written form of this deck list on my Discord. So you want to join the Discord that I'm gonna have on the description, and I'm gonna have it under the YouTube deck list channel, so you can just copy it from there. So yeah, as always guys, this was Yata here. Have fun playing this deck at a high level, but I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.